So where's everyone from?
I guess we'll start. Yeah. I'm from Queens, New York. My family immigrated from Trinidad. Really, my granddad. So yeah.
Well, I'm originally from, I guess you say, Miramar, Hollywood area. I was born in Pembroke Pines, but my family, most of them is from Jamaica, and I want to say both my mom and my dad migrated to America in their young adolescence age. I think my mom came up here when she was 9, and my dad came up here when he was I think in his 20s. Interesting.
I'm from here, but my parents were born in Haiti. My dad from Port-au-Prince, and my mom from Lyonco.
Okay, so I'm from St. Thomas, Hills Virgin Islands. I was born there, but I moved here when I was 3. My mom, she's from St. Kitts. My dad is from Trinidad.
I'm from Nigeria, and I moved here when I was 5.
Okay.
I didn't know you were born over there.
No, but it's a complicated story.
Oh.
Not that complicated, but I was born here. But I went back when I was a baby, and then I came back again when I was 5, and then I stayed here.
That makes sense. I think that happened to my cousin too. They had him, which is kind of crazy. Like, just have him born down there. Like, why have the hassle?
Citizenship?
No, that's true. Yeah. It's funny because my whole thing with my siblings and I, we all get mad at my mom. Like, why did you have us in Jamaica? We want to be Jamaicans. Like, for real. Food is really good, guys.
Yeah.
Like, I'm tasting everything.
Food is amazing.
Yeah,
Good job to everyone who cooked.
Yes.
And Jollof Pot. Good job to them.
Did anyone cook? I cook.
Oh yeah.
To you, good job to you.
My mom.
And your mom as well. And the chef.
The chef at Joy is cooked.
Oh, good job to them. Yeah. Let me try some of this callaloo.
It's really good.
It's just
It's my first time having callaloo like this. I'm used to how my mom and my dad they make it. They would it's just like you're steaming it, but with just a little bit of oil, and they put carrots and all the other stuff. But I don't know. I feel like callaloo is so much better than American greens.
Okay, I think collard greens are so nasty.
Thank
I
you.
love collard.
It's so bitter.
See, we don't have an African American to defend themselves.
They've been booted.
I'm dead.
No, I had it one time. I was like, "This is disgusting." I'm sorry.
Collard greens. What do they? I've never.
It
had
was
them.
bitter. I was just like, "Why are greens bitter?" Like,
I don't think
It
are
was
they
like
supposed
bitter
to be?
salty.
Okay, so how far can everyone trace their lineage back?
oh, I want to say, technically, probably the furthest I know is my great grandmother. I never met her. She died. I want to say in the 1980s. I think she died at 116.
Whoa.
Yeah. No, that's the funny thing. On my mom's side, all the women live long. The men don't really last that long and stuff. Except for technically my grandma's father. He was old when he met my great grandma's sister. She died. I want to say 2 years ago at 108 or 109. She died. And then everybody else, yeah, it's pretty long, surprisingly. But I don't know.
My-
direct.
My mom's last name is Hamilton. And this, Alexander Hamilton, his brother and his mom, got exiled. They would have been killed if they stayed in Scotland.
Oh.
And they left to Trinidad.
Oh, wow.
And then, the name, and my granddad always tells my mom, "Oh yeah, we're related to Alexander Hamilton." I'm like, bro, come on, stop.
But it's fine, because where's a Hamilton in Trinidad?
Yeah. But my oldest relative, I think, is my great grandmother, which is my granddad's mom. I recently saw a photo of her. She was really old. I have never met her, but she's from Venezuela. She was really old in the photo I saw. Yeah.
I'm looking at Ashley because I had the pictures, and I'm like, bro.
Yeah, I told you. The rice is spicier than everything on this plate, but it's so good.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna have more of that.
I'm glad y'all are enjoying the jollof.
That's good. Oh wait, I didn't even try it yet.
Where'd you get the jollof rice from?
The spot called Jollof Pot. It's in Miramar.
Y'all, I was gonna say that my side of the family, they don't really like to talk about their history or their lineage. So it's so crazy to me, the fact that you guys know about your great-great-grandparents, I don't even know who they are. I don't even know their names. That is just like the only history that I know is my grandma's and my grandpa's, and they don't even tell me that much. I know that my grandpa, sorry, I know you guys can hear my clothes making. My grandpa was a dressmaker, and my dad actually was a dressmaker as well. And they had a farm, and it was a big family. So my grandma has 7 kids, and they lived on a farm. And they would do like farm activities, like after school, they would tend to the animals every single day. And then my mom, she actually had to be displaced from her immediate family to go live closer to the school, because that's how it is in Haiti.
That's true.
So it was a walk for her. It was just like a different pace. And both of them actually came around 17, 18 years old.
To be.
Oh, wow. Said that. I was just thinking, like, imagine not knowing your parents. Imagine not knowing your lineage, which is how much of a disservice it is, because if we don't know where we come from, we don't even know the many talents that we have that are either have yet to be accessed or are there, but we just don't know who it's coming from.
Yeah.
Okay, do you subscribe to the idea of genetic trauma? Like something your ancestors experienced is now affecting you. You don't really know where it's coming from, but it's happening. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, to me, slavery is just traumatizing. Traumatizing.
Yeah.
So, like, I'll go back home and you'll just be driving and you'll just run into a plantation, but it's a ruin now. It's just an open field. But you know what was going on
Right?
there.
Yeah.
I know on my dad, I think on both of my parents' side, I know about their grandparents. So I don't know too much further back from that, but I think that's, I don't know, at least with my dad, it's from me not asking as much because I don't see him that often. He still lives in Nigeria, so yeah, I don't know too much about that. But with my mom, like, she'd always tell me about her grandma. So like, my parents grew up in the city, but their or at least I know my mom's parents are from like this village, like called them a village. So she would tell me how like her grandma had a farm in the village, and so she would like always go and visit. And then with my dad, I just know his grandpa is like the person who started our new lineage, kind of. So like there's this like practice where like to start a new lineage, you just take your first name and then make it the new family's like last name. So my dad's grandpa's last name was Agado. Like, his first name was Agado, so then that became our last name.
When he came
cool.
here, yeah.
Oh no.
Oh, just in general.
Yeah, I'm first generation. So this is all people in Nigeria. I'm actually kind of the only person. Me and my mom are the only ones out here. So
Really?
yeah, and then cousins, but
Yeah. Do you miss all of it?
I do. It's kind of difficult being so far from your family, I think. Like, it's like, oh, everyone's 4,000 miles away and like 6 hours ahead. So if I want to call someone, I have to like wake up and then call them. I can't call them at like 3 p.m. because they're going to bed.
But yeah. That's how my family, on my mom's side, from my grandpa, Daddy Lloyd, he was the only one who was born in Jamaica, and then his parents had moved to England and had the rest of his kids, their kids. And it's crazy because I have like, I want to say at least like 3 uncles over there. I have one grand uncle. Well, I guess they're all grand uncles. But I have one grand uncle in Australia. Never met him in person, but we were Facebook friends. But it was just like, it's just funny. It's just like, wow, we're literally just spread all over. So.
I'm chilling.
Yeah, the jollof really is spicy.
I know.
Yeah.
Come on now, you're Haitian. You have to speak up.
No, I like it. I hate the spice.
Yeah, because I feel like it's the right amount. Because then when you mix it with everything else, okay, it's.
I just didn't expect. This is my first time trying jollof rice.
Yeah.
So, do you prefer growing up here versus back home? Or like, would you, if you didn't get to grow up back home, do you think you would have preferred it?
It's a hard question. I'm not gonna lie.
I think I would have preferred to live in Haiti, just because like my first language was Creole, and because they had to place me in school and they had to place me in ESOL, I lost my language.
Oh, wow.
And so it's so difficult communicating with my grandma. I still know Creole. I can even read it, but as far as like getting the words out, it's not the same. When I visited Haiti for the first time, a lot of people would call me Mumwfm, which is like white people.
Yeah. Because I heard that blonde.
So I think that kind of stuck with me because whenever I come here, even the guy on the train today, he was like, "Do you talk Creole?" And I said, "To be honest, I only talk Creole with my family, and that's it." Because I have such an anxiety speaking Creole around people that I don't know. Like, it's just so weird for me. I feel like I would have rather live in Haiti so that way I can be closer to my people.
Okay, I have so when I go back home, I get called Yankee and stateside
What?
a lot. Okay, and then like one of my younger cousins back, like I went a few like before the pandemic, right? And she's like 5, 6 years old. She's like, "Why does she talk like that?" And I'm like, "Wow, okay." But yeah, sometimes like I'll go back home and I'll feel like not forced, but you know, a little forced to like speak a certain way, and like especially my older aunts will be talking to me, and I'm like, huh?
Right?
Like what? Say that again? Like, okay.
Do you feel like they're forcing you or you're forcing yourself?
I'm forcing myself.
Yeah.
But it's not my fault we live here, you know what I mean?
You just end up being here.
But like, and it's crazy because I have 2 older brothers. They're like 10 and 12 years older than me. They got to live there, right? For like most of their adolescence. So I feel like a little jealous because like you get to live in this paradise and I'm over here
in America,
Florida, like, you know, like
kick.
But low key, I will say one thing about Miami. Like, you can go, like, I was living in Seattle briefly before this.
Oh, really?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, for another master's degree program. Yeah.
Oh,
Talk about cake dance. Excuse me. I don't know who did that in the video, but yeah, like 90% white.
Oh, wow.
Talk about culture shock. That's a better word to say. Yeah. So at least here in Miami, we have we have the variety.
do we have a variety
No,
here in
I
Miami?
feel like it's still a majority
It's still-
Hispanics,
yeah.
and it's kind of overwhelming sometimes because everyone just expects you. Like literally, I went over to my friend. I came to her house the other day when we were doing the mural or prepping for it and stuff. And her mom's boyfriend also came over, and he says, "Oh, you don't speak Spanish, but you live in Florida." I was like, "Well, you know, it's not."
I'm sorry, but this is America, sir.
Like,
Like, we're in America.
no, but I find it crazy. They expect you to speak Spanish. You're like, okay, what about Creole? What about Patois? What about Russian? Like, those are a
Russian
lot.
just came out of.
That was
you're
a-
right. There's a big Russian
There's
community.
a lot of Russians.
Are
And
you
the Jews?
Yeah.
I
There's,
played
a lot,
tennis with some Russians
there's
here.
a lot of Jewish people
What?
as well.
Yeah, especially on once you go on Ocean Drive, it's straight Jews and Russians. That's all you got.
That's new to me.
Yeah.
What? When I was working at the whole, that's all you hear was Russian, Jewish. Well, they don't really speak, I guess, Hebrew.
There's like Yiddish, I think.
That's what they call it.
Well, I know there's Yiddish and there's Hebrew, but I'm not sure which.
Which one? Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Don't cancel me.
So
I'm
Cameron.
unsure. But I think I did have some know some people in high school who spoke Yiddish.
That's interesting.
It's like, you know how like some Muslims like will learn like the Quran, but they might not necessarily speak, Arabic. Yeah. So a lot of like for bar mitzvahs and bar mitzvahs, so like learn the passages.
Just to that makes sense.
But I think Miami is very segregated though.
Oh,
I think
yeah.
there's a lot of different communities, but like it's like you're driving, like
You
if you
just
go off US 1, you go, and the signs are changing languages. The people are changing.
Maybe seeing like a I'm trying to think of like what's a Hispanic word that we be seeing.
Like the Sinangas, but even like
How do you know right away?
I have a friend, she's Nicaraguense, she's like half Nica, half Dominican. Oh, she put me onto the Fritangas at the Nicas. But yeah, like it's really funny to even within like, there's such a huge Hispanic community, but even to see even their neighborhoods are super segregated.
Oh yeah.
Like you go to certain places, it's like, no, this is where the Nica people stay, this is where the Dominicans are, like, and not to say they don't mix that much, but
it's true, we really don't. Because even when I used to live in Miramar with my aunt, it was us. We were Jamaican. Across was Trini. Diagonal was Jamaican. Next to us was Haitian. Behind us was white, and we still didn't mingle like that. We only mingled with like the people across and diagonally. Everybody else was just like, So. And I think that's the crazy part. I took for granted the culture that we have down here. When I went to Micah, and that was my first time, how you had the culture shock. That was my first time in a PWI. And I didn't know what to do with myself. I was like, oh my God, like, where's my people? Like, it was so bad that I think it was only like, 3 black people per class, probably like 1 for Hispanic. Everybody else was white and Asian. And it was to the point where we were all just hoping and waiting that BSU would open up soon. So
What? Wait, there was no BSU?
no, there was,
Oh,
but like
okay.
you know how like they give us like a month to settle in, and then the clubs come. So when we had the BSU cookout, everyone was so happy. We were like, oh my
Wow.
god, all the other black people. 'Cause, like, but it's crazy because imagine Mike is in the heart of Baltimore City, literally one of the blackest neighborhoods.
Yeah,
so it's just like
the DMV is very black, and not just black, very African as well.
yeah.
Like all of Africa is out there. So the fact that there's no
And that's the
black
thing.
people-
It's just like you're literally in a black community. You don't think, oh, maybe I should do something to bring in the community more to, make it a better place, as they call it, how it's dangerous. Which is funny because, honest to God, I felt safer in the streets of Baltimore compared to the schools. Yeah, like,
Really?
It's like my friend got robbed one time by a kid on a bike. It was
Not on a bike.
Yeah,
That's
because they
rough.
didn't know if he had a gun. I was like, girl, you just kick the bike. Like, I'm sorry.
He had a gun?
No, they didn't know, but I was just like, if he's on a bike, just kick the bike, He fall over, he can run.
Exactly.
But
If he doesn't have a gun.
if he doesn't, look like the kid. You never know.
You really don't know.
Okay, so where are your families spread out?
Okay. I got most of Florida. I have one auntie in, I think it's Kentucky. I think it's funny how she came to be. My mom technically helped create her in a way because when my mom left from Florida and stuff. No, like in the sense of your house earlier, my mom couldn't go to schools in here in Florida, so she had to leave. And my grandpa and her left, the state with his wife, Mommy P, and they went to another state. And then he met a lady, and then my auntie came to me. So
Okay, so your mom was not directly involved.
yeah,
Right,
no,
okay.
that's
Well, you said
weird.
that.
I know, sorry. And then I have most of my family still in Jamaica. Then I have England, Australia. I have one cousin in California. Yeah, and I have I have family in Canada too.
Yeah, I have a lot of family in Canada.
Is it Toronto?
Yes.
Sorry.
Yes, same.
I don't think they go any farther, to be honest.
Probably not.
Most of Canada is like in that little strip anyway.
Yeah, because
Like,
isn't it like inhabitable? Like
Yeah,
the rest
like-
of it.
Yeah, you can live out there.
Yeah, Queens, Brooklyn, LA, Florida, a lot, but like I guess I don't know like everywhere in Florida, but like the Orlando side.
Okay.
Turn it on, no.
That's it. Well, me, it's Haiti, Florida, Georgia, and then also Canada too. I think some of my people are from New York.
I have food there too. I forgot about that.
So I have Nigeria, Italy, UK. I think I have a cousin in Germany. Cali as well. Toronto as well. Atlanta. And then there's my mom here.
So I have family in Florida, Alabama, like specifically just my aunt. I don't know. And she has a country accent, which boggles my mind. She has a country accent now, right?
Oh wow.
She moved, I think when she was like 18 or something, right?
Wow.
You would never guess this lady is actually West Indian. Because like her country accent, and her husband is from Louisiana, so make it worse.
That's it,
Yeah,
yeah.
you're right.
Okay,
So,
so we got a Texas Bama.
yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah. Literally.
It's fun.
So country, I love that.
Mhm.
I can just imagine you visiting her and she just saying all the country stuff and you're like, man.
I just came from Miami.
What? I didn't know they spoke country or they had country accents in Georgia. So when I went there for the first time, I was like, oh my god. I was like,
Wait,
Yeah.
which side?
this is when I did a college tour. It was like the Georgia Florida line, and then I went to Savannah. I think
Savannah?
yeah.
Yeah. It's
I'm
outside of
very
Atlanta.
shocked.
It's
Outside
pretty,
of
yeah.
Because I think Atlanta's mostly like transplants. No? A lot of transplants.
I want to go to Atlanta. It looks so pretty.
It's so nice. Atlanta's such a lovely city.
I like
Culture?
going out there.
So nice. Question?
Yes.
Okay,
I gotta
Oh,
say before.
okay. And then I also have family in England. Like my great grandmother had 12 kids. So a lot of her kids live in England. So like my grandmother's like sisters and brothers. And then I have family like St. Thomas, St. John, St. Lucia, Anguilla, Antigua.
That's right up.
Yeah, and then my dad's parents were from St. Vincent and the Grenadines. We're very Caribbean. So, yeah,
Yeah, all of the Caribbean.
basically.
Okay.
They said one person here, one person there.
Do you guys ever get mistaken for a different nationality?
Yes.
All the time.
Okay, but what is it?
Haitian. Every time. I'm like, you want to ask me if I'm Jamaican first? No offense. Sorry.
What the heck?
Sorry.
You're killing her.
The hate is crazy.
But like it's crazy because like my family for a long time I had to tell them like like stop dishing shit out on the Haitians. Like
Yeah.
what did they do to you? Nothing. So why you hate? And I didn't know this until I went to school and they said if you think about it, people work this idea that Haitians are bad and stuff because when you think about it, they were the first in the Caribbean to actually get their own independence.
Exactly.
And that sparked the inspiration for everybody else to get independent. So what way to destroy them instead of making them think, oh, you know what, they're onto great things. Let me make them look like they're the big enemy. So now all the other countries hate them. But when you think about it, when you go to those other countries, they really don't have no beef. It's really in America they have that ideology and stuff. So it's really disheartening because most of my good friends are Haitian. So I'm just like,
You think it's only in America that have the ideology?
yeah, because when I was in Jamaica, there's Haitians there.
Yeah.
There's no, you wouldn't even know they're Haitian because no one's bad, but it's more classism down there. It's not really like
They were the only ones who won their independence. You know?
Yeah.
Really,
Yeah.
that's what it
Inspired
really
everybody
Exactly.
else. First Black Republic
Yeah.
in the world.
Can I tell a funny story?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so I get mistaken. Well, people assume I'm either Jamaican or Haitian, right? And
I was gonna say that.
no, listen. Wait. What do you mean?
I was gonna say I thought you were Jamaican.
See, yeah, people
I don't
think
know
I'm
why.
Jamaican.
too.
I
Really?
can see it too.
Really? What do you
But
mean?
I don't know
Yeah.
what it is, but like I really thought you were.
Oh, okay. Well, no. I'm not. But so yeah, I think it's like because the way like we look, we're like unambiguous Black women, so it's really easy. I always feel like that's the default, but I also feel like it's American ignorance because they only know those two main islands.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Haitian
There's
and
thousands of other islands that you
Yeah.
can choose from, but it's just like their own ignorance.
Yeah.
But I have this funny story. So when I was in high school, right? We had a substitute teacher, and he swore up and down that I was Haitian. I'm like, no, I'm not Haitian. I'm from the Virgin Islands. Right? He starts
like,
speaking
where's
Creole to me. Okay, wait.
What?
My last name is Noel. Let's start there.
Oh,
My
wow.
last name is French, right? So, okay,
Okay.
right? He starts speaking Creole to me. I'm looking at him like he got 5 heads. I'm like, dude, what? Like, huh? He's like, you don't know Creole? I'm like, no. He's like, you should learn it. And I'm like, wait, but
Why
but
should I
why?
learn it?
Dude, he did not want to hear it. Like, but yeah, I don't have a problem with it. But my thing is, why don't people ask instead of assuming?
But was
I think that's
he
a big
Haitian?
problem.
Yes,
Oh.
he want me to be one of
Of
him.
course, yeah. The Haitians not gonna ask, are you Haitian? You are Haitian.
Your people will get it. I'm so sorry.
I'm gonna file a lawsuit.
Well, you saw
No, you can't say
you it reminds me.
Did she come on?
I was jealous.
Lynn's laughing in the corner.
She said, I was protecting myself from exactly this.
Like, this is why we had to sign it up. But as a kid, I'm not gonna lie, I was a bit jealous of Haitians because they had a Haitian flag there. I was like, where's my flag there?
I thought it was everybody flag day.
No.
No.
In high school, it was always Haitian. I was like,
Because everybody popped out with their flag, so I just assumed it was every flag day.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you not see the Haitian flag? Because it's not. It's
Oh.
Caribbean flag.
Right.
They need everybody.
I see the Palestinians, the goddamn
The
Chinese
Palestinians.
people, we popping out. Yes, with their
Oh.
flag. Everybody had their flag.
I don't know. But it makes sense. Like, this is this year, you're saying? Or like
I'm talking
overall?
about this is overall. If I
Oh,
was in
wow.
high school, middle school, everybody.
This is
popped out.
What?
It's getting to her.
The picture just
Oh.
went the wrong way.
Oh.
Yeah, take the rose. Take the
I think I
rose.
might go
It
up
wasn't
that
a
plate.
question mark. but
Okay,
probably.
hold on.
Oh,
One,
There's
two,
some edits.
cut. Okay, I'm gonna cut it in.
You had to cut for me to grab the plate down on my one.
Oh, okay. If you weren't like where you're from, where would you want to be from instead?
Oh, that's a good question.
I would want to be Indian.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, I went to India last summer, and it was just like such a beautiful experience. Like, I don't know, something about it. It was like so weird. Like, it felt like home, but then it didn't feel like home in so many. I don't know if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, oh, that's so cool. I just like the people were so hospitable. People were so kind, and I was like, this is so comforting. And I really love their culture. Like, I was kind of in India thinking because colonization obviously like hit Africa very badly, and like it hit. Other people got colonized, right? Mm-hmm. After like trade, but like Africa got colonized after the slave trade in particular. So there was already this like gap of millions of people being removed from the continent, and not just like random people, but people who had certain skills. So there was a skill gap. And then after that, we got colonized. Mm-hmm. So like I kind of was looking at India and I was like, they're so in touch with their traditional like culture, like the fact that like a lot of Indians have their traditional religion, they still wear their traditional clothes en masse. Like people wear other clothes too, but it's like in India there's not a stigma against being Indian, whereas like in Africa, or at least I speak for Nigeria, there's still that stigma against, like, for instance, traditional religion has a really big stigma.
Oh really?
Yeah, like a huge stigma, you know what I mean? Like to the point that some people obviously practice in secret because they're doing bad things, but other people, like, they're afraid of that stigma. And, like, our traditional laws aren't there the same way they used to be. So I'm like, I wonder if this is what we would look like if we had held on to our culture after colonization.
It's hard to find people to talk about these things. Everyone's like, no, I want to talk about that. That's too sensitive. I'm like, so our existence is sensitive now?
Yeah. Like, our personal is political. As unfortunate as it is, even down to the way we wear our hair, the makeup we do, the outfits we choose, everything is inherently political because there are people that exist that want us to be something that we're not. That want us not to exist, except for in servitude, first of all. But outside of that, no, there's like,
That's true.
there's like, even like the idea, the funny thing is about racism, right? Of course, I know we've all experienced, like our ethnicities are just, and this I say for all human ethnicities, we like to keep to ourselves, right? Mm-hmm. The idea of segregation is almost natural because people like to be around people like them. But then the idea of a hierarchical racism in which there are ethnicities that are like objectively on top, not just personally, like, oh, I prefer Nigerians to like Jamaicans, but like there's like white people on top, and then there's that hierarchy was created because of capitalism, it was created because of slavery. Slavery predates racism.
Yeah.
It was used as a reason to say this is why black people should be enslaved, because they're inferior. So it's like that idea of like money, it's like weird to think like racism is a product of capitalism.
When it came.
Yeah.
Which is actually crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's really
No, like, it's true because there was, oh my god, I remember like in fucking US history, or no, I don't know if it's what history, but like I learned like when the Spanish went to like Central South America, they were enslaving the natives, but like they were bringing their like European diseases. The natives were not built for that shit. They started dying off.
Oh, yeah.
So then this guy is like I think it was a missionary, started like saying like, these are our brothers, we shouldn't be enslaving them, we should enslave the Africans. Where's humanity from? Africa. Some of the most dangerous diseases are in Africa. Like, but yeah, like, not like Africa's where humans are from. So like, okay, but you know how like there's not a lot of really big animals like the way they're in Africa and other continents? Yep. It's because that's where we're from. So the animals in Africa evolved to get used to us and our hunting habits. Whereas when we went to other but when other people went to other continents, they killed off all the really big animals like the saber-toothed tigers, the mammoths. But we have elephants, right? And so yeah, so it's like they literally were picking Africans, like people act like it's random. They were picking people who were farmers. Mm-hmm. They were picking Africans because like these are the oldest humans. Like we have such a fundamental understanding of our land that like outside of European history, like you know how they're like, oh, people came out of Africa? I was talking to my dad once and he was like, yeah, our ancestors knew that we came from East Africa. Like even though we're of this land, our ancestors, like my dad knows because his dad told him, because that person's dad told him that we came from elsewhere. We came from around Egypt area. But then when you come to like, like these people who are doing all their studies and whatever, what will they tell you? Humanity's from like that Ethiopia area. But we knew that.
You already knew that before doing it. And it's crazy because they be making it seem like we can't pass on like what. That's when they say, oh, you can't trust oral history and all that. And it's like, but yeah, it's still alive and it's still. And that's my whole thing. It's just like, why can't we trust our own culture? I think that's the scariest thing. And if you notice it, look at it. Yeah, look at it.
Here's a question.
Oh,
yes, we can. Yes, we can. Yes, we can.
No, African slaves are dropped off, there's some form of witchcraft, right?
Mhm.
Why is it deemed as witchcraft when it's their cultural things? When it's just like, okay, when we look at Christianity, we don't call that witchcraft.
It is.
Especially now
The
that
man walks on water. Like, what is that?
Like,
you don't
right?
know.
You're
Hello?
eating the body of Christ. You're drinking
Hello?
his blood.
Hello?
That's not a witchcraft ceremony. That's okay. That's communion.
Yeah.
But you know,
Or when they were dead ass acting like a cult, no one said nothing. They said just actually insane.
a man rose from the dead 3 days later. That's not witchcraft. So I don't know.
No, that's really deep because, like, when I think about it, I feel like I've always wanted to, be from. Well, I guess you could say, realistically speaking, probably like Ethiopia and stuff. Like, because you know how the Jamaican ideal, like Ross Bryan and all that.
Okay.
Right. But it's interesting because when I think about it, I feel like it's this big rift of being, Rastafarian or Christian. And I was like, but we read the same Bible, so what's the problem? Like that's what I guess one thing I would like for my family to ever like talk about and get on a deeper, aspect to think about. Like, hey, like why is there a bridge? Like, why can't we just believe what we believe in? But we're still believing the same God. What's the problem? It's just a different practice. But I think that's what. I think that's one thing that really awakened me when I was in high school and realized, like, even though, like, yes, I was raised in a Jamaican household or, like, I had some form of roots, but I felt like I was still disconnected and stuff. Like, there's so much more beyond Jamaica. There's so much more beyond the whole idea of, like, oh, we're descendants of slaves. I'm like, yeah, but we had history before that.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, I would love to know, like, where did we really come from?
See, and that's what I wanted to explore with this project because I was having an identity crisis. This whole thing spanned from identity crisis because I was like, okay, yeah, I can trace back these different islands, but like, where in Africa did we come from? And I think that's really a disservice. And it's sad because honestly, I feel as though white people got away with it. You know what I mean?
They
We've
still
lost
are.
our history and they got away with it.
Yeah.
Look at it now, how I think France said that they'll give back the jewels and all the treasures that they stole. And they admit they stole it, but they're going to do a 3-year loan.
Yeah,
That's
actually crazy.
not-
Yeah, and it's funny because it's our stuff. Like, not just our stuff, like Nigerian, because, like, obviously we have our tribes. Like, it's Benin artifacts as well. And, like, I don't have her on me. I usually wear her, like, one of the big masks that's, like, touted as, like, oh, like, the pinnacle of, like, African art is, I think it's either in Chicago or somewhere outside of Africa. And they're always like, we'll loan you back your stuff. And they do this to everyone. And it's like, how can you admit that something is stolen and say, well, it's too late? Like, give us our stuff back, and then you sit here, you say that you care about things like genocide, you say that you care about things like, injustice, but you actually don't care when it benefits you.